Greetings, Bissell fans. So many years ago, I was dying to get a Bissell, like say maybe 2014, 2015. Now I've got a basement full of these things, all different types, all different shapes and colors. And if you're a follower of my channel, you know that I take an awful lot of measurements. Well, I noticed something that was very suspiciously similar amongst all these three models. So from left to right, I'm reading this from a page I printed out here. I have a 2008 Power Force Turbo model 6585, and that's on the left in red there. In the middle, I have a 2016 Power Clean 1330K, model 1330K. Yeah, I have more tests to do with that for sure, so stay tuned for those. And on the right, I have a 2019 Helix 2191U, the little purple dude. Now, they're all bagless, and these represent models that go from, well, 2008 to 2019. So you're talking an 11-year lifespan. And of course, production years are going to vary around even longer than that. What is so interesting about these machines is that they are essentially the same. Now you say, wait a minute, them's fighting words. They're not the same. There's definite differences here. Like, for example, the Turbo 6585 plainly says 12 amps. And if you look at the Power Clean specs, that one says 10 amps. And if you go to this little inexpensive Helix, little cheapie, it's an 8 amp motor. So what do you mean they're the same? Well, their airflow at the nozzle is the same. So I went ahead and actually gathered the information, and the 12 amp machine over here. Now, all these machines have been refurbished. Okay, so they're in as good a shape as they can possibly be. So this 12 amp motor is rated, well, would be rated at 1440 watts, because that would be about 120 volts times, say, 12 amps. Now, the no load rating on an airflow box, in other words, not running on carpet, 1423 watts. No load rating for the Power Clean, 1020 watts. The no load rating for this little cheap Helix, 825 watts. I mean, actual, real, measured no load power. So there's a difference of just about 600 watts in usage between the granddaddy here, that I think looks rather handsome, and this little lightweight cheapie. So some other differences going from left to right. The Turbo weighs 15.9 pounds. We'll call it the carry weight. That's the weight including the cord, tools, etc. The Power Clean in the middle only loses about 0.8 of a pound. It's 15.1 pounds. So in other words, you can't really tell the difference when you're carrying this one and that one. They weigh about the same. Now, the Helix over here, big difference in weight, 10.2 pounds. Again, that's fully loaded carry weight. Okay, so there's some interesting numbers for you. Let's go and talk about the airflow at the nozzle. We're talking sealing the nozzle, replacing whatever bearings need to be replaced, you name it. Guess what? From left to right, we're looking at, and this is all the filters in and everything, 63.3 CFM, 64.7 CFM, and 62.7 CFM. So the difference in nozzle CFM, and they're very similar nozzles, not exactly the same, they vary around a little bit, is 2 CFM total. That's it. So they all basically have the same CFM. There is a difference in the suction, though. So again, from left to right, that one, sealed suction at the nozzle, 20 inches. This one right here, bit newer, 20 inches of sealed suction. This one right here, 30 inches of sealed suction. A bit more. I mean, that's not a huge difference, but when you're only talking 20 inches of suction, increasing 10 inches of suction, that'll hold up the airflow a little bit more when you put it on carpet. That's kind of wild. Brush roll RPM. Starting with the old guy, about 6,600 RPM. I'm just going to round. Orange dude in the middle, it's a little faster, about 7,200 RPM. That surprised me. This motor spins faster. Uses less power, but it spins faster. And the super cheapie, we're back down to about 6,500 RPM. So in general, these run between about 6,000 and mid 6,000s to low 7,000 RPMs. That's still somewhat similar. It's kind of like the suction difference. But the airflow with the nozzles, the same. I mean, within 2 CFM. But a 600 watt difference. I realize I just said that before, but I got to emphasize that. So as things were older, they were less efficient. And as technology got newer and, I must say, cheaper, they got more efficient and also lighter. And the last thing I'll go over is the hose suction. So from left to right, 64 inches of hose suction, 65 inches of hose suction, and 58 inches of hose suction. Now, if there's any type of going on there because it's got a suction relief valve, I just measure what the peak is before the valve goes. That's just normally how I do it. So all I want to do is really emphasize all my stuff here that over a period of well over a decade, as machines have gotten lighter, less expensive, and more power efficient, they use dramatically less power, they've stayed about the same. I mean, and all these three machines have about the same brush roll. I mean, close enough. Nothing really wild between all three of them. And it's all about the same thing. So how can I kind of sum this up? If you go and get one of the real cheap helices, if you have more than one, you shouldn't feel bad that you're getting some kind of cut rate, lightweight machine, because overall, it's going to be about the same as what the old granddaddy was that was much heavier and used a lot more power. I mean, I think this looks kind of cooler than what this one does, but I mean, so what? It's cosmetic. I mean, it's a tool. So that's all I really wanted to go and talk about. Was I noticed that these machines over this age period had wildly varying motor specs. But when it comes to actually cleaning your flooring, cleaning the carpet, they're the same. So thanks for watching and listening to me ramble on for a while on these Bissells. But I just got so much of a kick out of that, I had to make a little quickie, low effort video. Until next time, happy vacuuming.